Good morning. Here's what you need to know. President Trump said in an impromptu interview that the Russia inquiry makes the United States look very bad, but he believed Robert Mueller, the special counsel leading the investigation, would treat him fairly. Here's a transcript. Our White House correspondent looked back at the first year of Mr. Trump's foreign policy, including some awkward encounters with European leaders. The post-war international order is not working at all, Mr. Trump has told advisors. Ahmed Jalanzo / European Press Photo Agency. In Liberia, the former international soccer star George Weah was elected president, according to unofficial results, defeating the sitting vice president, two former warlords and his ex-girlfriend. Mr. Weah's experience in government is limited, but expectations are high in Gibraltar, the Monrovia neighborhood where he was raised. Domenico Stinellis / Associated Press. The countdown to Europe's next pivotal election began when Italy's president effectively opened the campaign for the first national vote in 5 years. It is scheduled for March 4. A coalition of right-wing parties could surpass the governing Democratic Party. The anti-establishment Five Star Movement and the far-right League Party have gained in recent polls. Vahid Salemi / Associated Press. Iran and Saudi Arabia are competing in a surprising new category, gender equality. Both countries are responding to domestic and international pressure over women's rights and are now vying over who can be quicker to overhaul their repressive rules. Separately, our correspondent in Cairo met the women of Egypt's only roller derby club. They say the sports bump and tumble help unleash their frustrations and offer a sense of empowerment. Esther Arts. If you're still looking for New Year's resolutions, here's our advice: set concrete goals, measure progress, and aim high. We asked experts in their fields to teach us how to improve ourselves in 2018, including how to better clean a home, build a team, or save for retirement. Many of us make getting fit and losing weight our resolutions, but the odds are that we'll fail. If you want to set a lower bar, here are 5 vows that are easily kept. Business. Vincent Yu / Associated Press. Apple, accused of slowing down old iPhones, said that it would discount the cost of battery replacements worldwide for anyone with an iPhone 6 or later to regain customers' trust. Uber shareholders agreed to sell a significant stake in the ride-hailing giant to SoftBank. The deal values Uber at $48 billion, a notable drop from the $70 billion valuation it once commanded. We surveyed 615 men about how they behave on the job. About a third admitted to what would qualify as objectionable behavior or sexual harassment. Dealbook advice: Andrew Ross Sorkin picked his favorite business books of the year. Our reporter in London discussed the tech he uses for his work, and norms for using smartphones socially. Here's a snapshot of global markets in the news. Naif Rama / Reuters. In Yemen, airstrikes on a market and a farm killed at least 68 civilians, including 8 children, the UN said. The New York Times. In Afghanistan, the Islamic State claimed responsibility for a suicide attack at a Shiite cultural center in Kabul that killed at least 41 people. The New York Times. Turkey's President, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, signaled that he is seeking to improve strained ties with European leaders. His government also ended a visa dispute with the U.S. The New York Times. Ahead of next year's election, President Vladimir Putin of Russia is again displaying the anti-terrorism swagger he was known for early in his tenure. The New York Times. Ramzan Kadyrov, the Chechen leader, challenged Facebook's decision to end his Instagram and Facebook accounts after the U.S. hit him with sanctions. The New York Times. The Trump administration plans to roll back offshore drilling regulations that were put in place after the worst oil spill in U.S. history in 2010. The New York Times. Slovenia is expected to implement an international court ruling on its long-running border dispute with Croatia, which Croatia has dismissed as invalid. Reuters. The latest installment of our Planet Fat series is a video documentary exploring whether Australia, where the number of obese adults has tripled since 1990, can turn down sweets. The New York Times Smarter Living Tips, both new and old, for a more fulfilling life. Craig Lee for the New York Times. Hot cocktails are sure to warm up your New Year's gathering, or just any quiet evening at home. Here are 5 New Year's resolutions to protect your technology. And 8 ways to have a better relationship in 2018. Noteworthy. Christoph Neiman. Every year, the New York Times commissions thousands of original illustrations from independent artists around the globe. Here are some of our favorites. Above, an experimental 360-degree sketchbook by Christoph Neiman. Mary Tyler Moore, Chuck Berry, Mariam Mirzakhani. We remember some of the artists, innovators, and thinkers we lost in the past year. For readers' tributes, see the lives they loved. The WTA Tour's busiest tennis player, Tatjana Maria, is a globe-trotting German mom. Meet Fabulous Flournoy, the star of British basketball, whose journey has taken him from the Bronx to Buckingham Palace. Vienna is far from just a time capsule of imperial palaces. It is a flourishing, multicultural metropolis of 1.8 million. Here's our 36 Hours Guide backstory. Each year on New Year's Eve, millions of people in the US and around the world turn their attention to Times Square for the annual ball drop. It all began at a New York Times party on December 31, 1904. The newspaper had just moved its headquarters from Lower Manhattan to a 24-story tower in Longacre Square, at the intersection of 42nd Street, 7th Avenue, and Broadway. Mayor George McClellan renamed it Times Square, and the publisher, Adolph S. Oakes, celebrated by putting on a New Year's Eve party with a live band and fireworks. No more beautiful picture was ever limned in fire on the curtain of midnight, the newspaper reported on January 1, 1905. The tradition lived on, but in 1907, the fireworks were replaced by a ball drop. The idea came from Western Union Telegraph Company in Lower Manhattan, which did a ball drop every day at noon. Time balls had been used to tell time for decades. The paper moved out of the building in 1913, but the ball drop continued, except for 2 years during World War II. A Times electrician, Thomas P. Ward, was in charge of it from 1907 to 1957. For more on the ritual, check out this article by our in-house historian, David Dunlap.
Yeah.